of primary ownership for creating new business. Now, as an assistant general manager, I have an idea. I know the resources. I know how to take it. I know who would be the supplier and how to create market for this particular idea. But when I'm working as a corporate entrepreneur, I should know within my company who has the primary ownership of creating new business. If at all an idea comes, whom to contact. Like we were discussing, under Japanese philosophy of managing, they have developed a concept called as quality circle, QC. Now, basic function of this quality circle is to innovate, is to come up with new set of ideas and see to it that those ideas are being implemented effectively. So similarly, I should also know where the primary ownership of creating new businesses lies. So first thing, this is the first decision. Developing a new business depends on. Second such decision is money dedicated to corporate entrepreneurship? Is Are there any funds kept aside to take care of such corporate entrepreneurship, or are new business concepts funded in an ad hoc manner as and when? So I should be checking out whether there is some provision made for such entrepreneurial ventures, corporate entrepreneurships, or as and when such ideas, are put forward by the executives, such ideas are funded. As and when the idea is generated or developed, funding is happening. So I should find out these two factors first before becoming a corporate entrepreneur, before starting your or before communicating your idea. All right. Then we have now four such models. The corporate entrepreneur can be called as an opportunist, enabler, advocate, and producer. Now, basically, these terminologies are different for corporate entrepreneur. The models are different because the situation in which the ideas are put forward, the way the companies function, the way the authority of the organization is. So the parameters are different. That is why the terminology is different. Yesterday, we also saw this two-dimensional matrix, X and Y axis. So what we have on X axis and Y axis. On X axis, I have the kind of ownership. First is diffused, that is scattered just here and there. So there is no control of ownership in case of diffused one, whereas focused is, hitting the bullseye, very much uh, giving the direction. And then in case of resource authority, I have a dedicated resource to take care of, and then I have an authority who works on ad hoc basis as and when kind of situation. So four such models: opportunist, advocate, enabler, and producer. Examples are given. Now, our job is to find out more about these companies. I'll roughly tell you this in case of the producer model, where example given is of Cargill. Now, this particular company is obviously an MNC, Minneapolis-based, US-based company, which is one of the world's top manufacturers and producers and distributors of agricultural products like oil, sugar, cotton. So the company deals with this. Moreover, this Cargill group is a family managed business since 1870. Since its inception, the company is always with the family members. So today also 90% of the stakeholders are Cargill family members only. Talking about Zimmer, it's a medical device company, and this company DuPont. Now DuPont is into various businesses. We One such DuPont's association which I remember is of the there is this kitchen utensils known as Teflon. uh, we might have seen its advertisement on also on the TV, that is these Futura and such brands. So these brands basically make use of Teflon as their material to come up with such um, non these utensils, so DuPont is associated with such products. They are into wire manufacturing and many such businesses they are into. But one of their business is this Teflon manufacturing and supplying it to non-stickable utensils and all. So we are at these models: opportunist, enable, advocate, and producer. Just I'll roughly take you to this slide, ये जो matrix है वो, and then we'll see about the models in detail in our coming slides. First is opportunist. Opportunist, the company has no deliberate approach to corporate entrepreneurship. So company has no such deliberate approach towards corporate entrepreneurship. They company has no clear, set of guidelines whether to implement or not to implement. So basically, there is no clear direction in terms of corporate entrepreneurship. Internal and external networks drive concept selection and resource allocation. So internal network within the company, or somebody takes help from the outsiders, maybe the with the help of vendors, with the help of distributors. Also the this concept selection and resource allocation can be driven. So basically everything is just scattered, that is why it is under diffused ownership, and resource authority is also ad hoc. So if I come up with an idea, I put forward, maybe today I put forward this concept to put forward this concept in front of CEO. Tomorrow, maybe it is being approved by the VC of the company, like that, the vice chairman of the company, like that. So basically, everything is helter skelter. Then we have advocate. The company strongly evangelizes for corporate entrepreneurship. Now, understand the meaning of this word evangelizes. Evangelizes का मतलब होता है forcefully convert करना. To forcefully, you see to it that this happens. So the company strongly here evangelizes for corporate entrepreneurship. The company is strongly makes such ideas convert into reality. So this way they are really helping the projects come into reality, but business units provide the primary funding. So here the business unit is providing the primary funding to the for that particular venture. So they are welcoming the ideas, and they are not taking help of any other entities like bank or financial institutions. They are not taking help from such entities, but the company itself, the business unit itself provides the primary funding, the basic funding which is required. Now that basic funding could be used for research and development, could be used for market testing, but then yes, that is what we mean here as advocate model of corporate entrepreneurship. Then comes enabler. The company provides funding and senior executive attention to prospective projects. Now, this is a very kya bolte, the best out of all four, because it has funding also being provided. Moreover, senior executives attention is also there for the prospective projects. So company is paying attention also, as well as company is providing funding also. And then comes the producer model. Company establishes and supports a full service group with mandate for corporate entrepreneurship. So there is a dedicated group which takes care, which supports such idea, is provided, and that is called as the producer model of corporate entrepreneurship. So let us learn these models in detail. The models are quite simple. Opportunist model, the the corner most क्या बोलते हैं एकदम नीचे वाला corner का model we are discussing, where ownership is diffused and resource authority is ad hoc. Works well only in trusting corporate cultures that are open to experimentation and that have diverse social networks behind the official hierarchy. So this type of model of corporate entrepreneurship works best when uh, the organizations are open to experimentation. Organizations are welcoming maybe out of world ideas. Organizations believe that through experiments only we can we may get a successful business idea or something. So the culture is quite open. The all sorts of ideas are welcome in opportunist model, and this setup has diverse social networks behind the official hierarchy. So people from people across the specializations or people across the organizations are grouped together, and then they are behind the managing such model, they are behind the official hierarchy. So this is a kind of welcoming model. You just come up with ideas, come to us, we'll help you out. So we are not following any hierarchy, or in terms of experiments also there are no rules and regulations. There need to be multiple executives who can say yes to new business concept. So as the ownership is diffused, we see that there can be multiple executives who can say yes. If an idea is presented to the maybe the chief manager, he says, yeah, I like the idea very much, you can go ahead. Maybe another department comes, presents the idea to the general manager production, even he welcomes, he likes, he asks questions, and if he is okay, even he approves the idea. So there are basically multiple executives who can say yes to the concept. Now final decision we are not talking here, we are saying that the idea can be approved by multiple executives. Without that type of environment, good ideas can easily fall through organization cracks or receive insufficient funding to prove feasible. Now, what this point is telling us is that if you want to have more and more corporate entrepreneurs, you should give such kind of liberty that as a company you get lot of such ideas, lot of good ideas. So out of that some ideas can easily fall through, they can see, if I have 50 ideas, chances are more that 5 or 10 out of those 50 ideas can be developed further. But if I restrict myself to attending only 10 ideas per year or 10 ideas per 6 months, then automatically just chances of getting 5 or 4 out of such ideas are always less, because number of ideas itself are limited, so would be the outcomes. So if you want to have more and more corporate entrepreneurs in your organization, then you should keep this option open. All right. Then we are understanding the enabler model. Enabler model is here, where ownership is diffused, but then resources are dedicated. Enabler model has dedicated resources. Early stages of new business conceptions, early stages of new business conception are explicitly supported, encouraged, and often strategically channeled with a promise of serious management attention to those concepts that look promising. Oh, I need to break it because it has got lot of points to discuss. Early stages of new business conception. Now, what could be early stages of business conception? Maybe the idea is developed, but then you need to find out who would be the suppliers. You need to check where these, where these products can be marketed, how these products can be distributed. So these are the early stages of business conceptions. Now these, what these points are telling us, that these stages are explicitly supported. Explicitly matlab openly, बोल के. These ideas are to be, these stages are to be explicitly supported, encouraged, and often strategically channeled. So it is the duty and responsibility of the authorities of that organization to see to it that whatever new conceptions, business conceptions are being put forward, the stages of that are to be explicitly supported and strategically channeled. So I should not be saying that this idea has come from a new joinee. Maybe we should discourage it. The idea has come, but then guys, just give me a minute. I'll come back. Yeah, sorry. So I was discussing that the higher authorities or the people from the organization should see to it that eh, please, wait a minute. Can you see the slides properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So enabler model discusses that the ideas which are the early stages of the new business conceptions are to be supported, and they are to be channeled with the promise of senior management attention to those concepts that look promising. Basically the point here is that every set of idea is to be welcome wholeheartedly, though it comes from a new joinee or from a senior manager or from an experienced person or the person who is quite low in the hierarchy. So as the enabler model which supports corporate entrepreneurship, the authorities or the senior manager sees to it that every such idea is to be looked properly and attention to those concepts that look promising. They also give their attention to the concepts that are quite promising, and each and every stage, the early stages of the businesses are to be supported. But then this model is not only about allocating capital for corporate entrepreneurship, it is also about personal development and executive engagement. So this enabler model is, as it is talking about allocating capital allocation, but it also talks about the development of the person who puts forward the idea. He should develop it, the idea, he should develop the idea, and as a person also he should show some kind of development. Maybe that development could be in terms of showing some managerial abilities, being more participative, dedicating authorities and responsibilities. So such managerial traits are expected to be seen in his performance while he is developing as a person. And also executive engagement is something the enabler model achieves through this sort of entrepreneurship. Third model is advocate. Advocate model is this one, where the ownership is focused and the authorities are acting on ad hoc basis or in ad hoc manner. The company assigns organizational ownership for driving the creation of new businesses to a, let me just see why this window is popping up. Yeah. The company assigns organizational ownership for driving the creation of new businesses to a designated corporate level group, but is intentionally provides the group with only a modest budget. The company here assigns the ownership for driving the creation of new businesses to a designated corporate level group. Students, give me 1 minute. I'll just shift. Extremely sorry. Actually, there was something else also happening. My kids also had their online school, so just took little bit of time for adjusting their this thing. So we were at advocate model. Company assigns the ownership for driving creation of new businesses to a designated corporate level group. So there is this group of people, group of corporate level, uh, uh, group at corporate level. See, there are three levels. Corporate level stands at the peak. Then you have managerial level or business level, and then you have day-to-day working, blue collar workers, we can say. So corporate level means at the top. So there is this group of people who are at the top level of the organization, who have the ownership, or who are actually the decision makers to create new businesses, who are responsible for encouraging or looking into the matters of this newly created businesses, but it intentionally provides the group with a modest budget. Now, the decisions related to the new ideas lie at the corporate level, but then this is purposely the organization provides with a modest budget. The company, the organization is not giving them the full authority in terms of budget. They make only few part of the total cost of that idea available to this particular group. This advocate organization act as evangelist, that is forcefully, it purposely, it forcefully converts it into reality or practicality and innovative experts. So these advocate organizations, they see to it that whatever ideas are being presented to them are to be taken to the next level. So they compulsorily see to it, and maybe in this process uh, they facilitate the entrepreneurship in conjunction with business units, which must demonstrate their commitment to new business development by paying most of the bills as author's note. So point here is that they see to it that every idea is to be brought into reality, and how they are making it available, or how they are making it possible to take it into reality by various ways. by facilitating the corporate entrepreneurship in conjunction with business units. Um, the qualities which the corporate entrepreneurs or the ideas which these corporate entrepreneurs have come forward with, they try to convert them into the reality, which demonstrates their commitment to new business development by paying most of the bills, as the authors note. If we see here, what is being written here, business units provide primary funding. So they make these ideas come into reality by providing the support from the dedicated corporate group, and also the funding, making the funding also available. And then we have last um, model of corporate entrepreneurship, that is producer, aims to protect emerging projects from turf battles जो ground पे जो battles होते हैं वो, so it aims to protect the emerging projects from the battles. So maybe that turf battles could be, the internal fight which may happen in the organization, that why at this moment you are funding the project, or some basically the oppose which happens from the internal organization. So aim of the producer model of corporate entrepreneurs, is to protect the emerging projects from such internal fights, and to encourage cross-unit collaboration. Cross-unit marketing, production, uh, then supply chain, and finance. So this is called as cross-unit collaboration. So basically this producer is the producer model is trying to take care of hurdles which can be expected. So these hurdles could be internal, these hurdles can be overcome by encouraging the cross unit collaboration. It always happens in the organization that people think, or the employees think, that marketing department is there just to spend money which we put in, because we spend heavily on making promo materials, we spend heavily on coming up with contest, giving away prizes, such things. So finance department always thinks that marketing is has this kind of nature of just not thinking how much we have, and it just goes on spending. Moreover, salespeople think that the quality of what the manufacturing department comes up with is always of inferior quality. So there is this lack of coordination. So this producer model is always in support of encouraging this cross-unit collaboration. What else it achieves? To build potentially disruptive businesses, and to create pathways for executives to pursue careers outside their business units. Potentially disruptive business, and to create pathways for executives to pursue their careers outside their business units. So basically this producer model of corporate entrepreneurship is quite in favor of the corporate entrepreneurs. So they are providing support from all the angles. They are taking care of other things which actually hamper the growth of corporate entrepreneurs. So such 4 models we just now have seen. This is the last point from our discussion, the first unit, that is startup. We all have heard, we all are aware about this revolution in India, startup revolution in India. As the name suggests, basically it is motivating the citizens of India to start, to come up with something of their own, to initiate something of their own. Startup means an entity which is registered in India not over 5 years. We are just seeing the definition. Not over 5 years, and the annual turnover not exceeding 25 crores in any financial year. So now, see, there are ways of starting business. We have sole proprietorship, we have partnership, then we have franchisee, and various such terminologies are. So when you are uh, defined as sole proprietor, when you are defined as a partnership firm, it has got some legal identification. Agar capital itna hai, if you have these many employees to take care of, if you have these many people who are contributing this much of capital, based on that the classification is. Similarly, if you want to call your uh, venture as startup, then these are the parameters. So what these parameters are, we'll see now. Startup is Government of India flagship initiative to build startups and nurture innovation. Now, the reason or motive behind this initiative, Startup India initiative, was to achieve the or to initiate the startups. Our honorable Prime Minister wanted to have this environment in the country which will build or which will promote such new initiatives. And when from where these new initiatives will come, they'll come from innovation. So to nurture innovation and to build these ideas, or to see to it that these ideas are converted into reality, they provided the ministry provided the background, or they provided the base, and that initiative or that movement is called as Startup India. Through this initiative, the government plans to empower startup ventures. Startup ventures. Now, why they want to empower, why they want to promote these newly started businesses? To boost entrepreneurship. Through these initiatives, government felt that if we have more and more people who will have their own ventures to start with, our dependency on the MNCs or maybe the transnational companies for employment would be minimized. See, basically, I require to survive, I require job, and job can be given by someone, or I create it for my own. When it is being given by someone, I have to work as per his or her terms and conditions. But when I work for myself, I can be more productive, I can generate ideas, and in turn I can generate employability, I can generate employment as well. So by starting up something of my own, I can achieve these many things. And that was what the motive of this particular initiative. So the government wanted to have, or government wanted to boost the entrepreneurship for these reasons, so that economic growth and employment across India can also be achieved simultaneously. So employment is being given. Because of employment, economy will grow, and across India, there would be more and more people who would be employed or who would be working. So automatically rate of unemployment may go down. So many things can be achieved by this, by just single such initiative. So let us learn some details about this startup initiative. The government's action plan will help accelerate the growth of startups throughout India across all important sectors in all the cities, tier 1, 2, and 3 cities, including semi-urban and rural areas. It includes promoting entrepreneurship among the SCSTs and women communities, is what was the motivating factors for launching this particular initiative, that overall employment generation, overall economic development, and promoting it to the weaker sections of the society and women communities of the society. So basically, upliftment is something uh, which this particular initiative wanted to achieve. Now, why Startup India? Why there is need to come up with such initiative? It is creating prosperity in India because we think of achieving economic growth and giving employment, generating employment through this particular program. Many enterprising people who dream of starting their own businesses lack the resources to do. Though I have a best idea, world class idea, out of this world idea with me, but if I have no funds, if I cannot generate the required funds to fulfill the needs, then it may happen that I will not come up with the I will not develop, or I will not come up with such venture. So it's a loss to economy. As a result, these ideas, talent and capabilities remain untapped. Just because of lack of resources, the ideas are not generated, ideas are not developed. So this talent and the person's capabilities, they are remaining untapped, unused, and the country loses out on wealth creation, economic development, and employment. No, things are simple, they are going hand in hand. Startup India will help boost entrepreneurship and economic development by ensuring that people who have the potential to innovate and start their own businesses are encouraged with proactive support and incentives at multiple levels. Simple funda behind this idea: people have idea, but because of money they don't develop the idea. They are not developing the idea. That is why the potential which is hidden in that idea, and the kind of employment which otherwise would have generated because of this uh, क्या बोलेंगे because of this idea, they all these things are not happening. So what can be done to see to it that enough funding is to be made available to such people who are developing their ideas? Now, in return of that, what we can achieve? We are achieving the increased rate of employment. This way, now it leads towards economic development. Agar employment बढ़ती है ज़्यादा, then I have less people to categorize under unemployed. When people are employed, they have money, they pay their taxes on time. So when I have taxes on time, I don't have to ask for simply loans to maybe WMF, yeah, such authorities. UN से funding लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, या other outsiders. I don't have to ask for loan to such people because I'm self-sufficient. I'm generating money. I can generate money internally. So this is what can happen because of employment, and this is what is the basic achievement expected out of running this Startup India initiatives. Now, how to define a startup? How to define a venture as a startup venture? It means an entity. It means a business entity. Now, this entity, which is first criteria, incorporated or registered in India not prior to 5 years. 5 years मतलब जब ये initiative आया तब से लेके 5 साल पहले तक it should have been incorporated and registered in India. This is the basic criteria or rule for startup. Abhi, for this startup, annual turnover should not exceed 25 crores in any preceding financial year. So, इसके लिए this condition is there that in any preceding previous financial years में The annual turnover should not exceed 25 crores. Otherwise, it would not be called as a startup. It can be then a private limited company, or depends, public also, if that has been generated, the money has been generated because of people's contribution, जो कि मैं IPO से या shares से which I buy. So again, different parameters, but then point to remember here is that the annual turnover should not exceed 25 crores in any preceding financial years. So this is second condition. Third is the startup should work towards innovation, development, deployment, or commercialization of new products, processes, or services driven by technology or intellectual property. Lot of things. The startup should work towards innovation. Working towards innovation, generating newer ideas, generating newer businesses. They should develop, they should deploy or commercialize what can be done, what can be deployed or commercialized, new products, processes, or services which are driven by technology or intellectual property. So that venture should be engaged in doing any of these activities. Then only the entity is called as a startup. Three parameters, three rules. First is should be registered in India not prior to 5 years. Preceding financial years में the company's turnover, annual turnover should not exceed 25 crores, and it should be working towards innovation or development, deployment, or commercialization of new products, processes, or services. Now, the entity shall cease to be a startup. नहीं बोला जाएगा. किसको? If it is formed by splitting up or reconstruction of business already in existence. The business which is already in existence. Now, out of that, you either split it, maybe you divide it, or you reconstruct it, maybe by putting in more capital, by employing another set of partners like that. So you are restructuring it. That is not called as startup because that business is already in existence. पहले से business ये है. So now you are putting a new terminology. How? By restructuring the business or by forming it by way of splitting up. एक कंपनी से दूसरी कंपनी, जैसे रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज, रिलायंस कम्युनिकेशन, रिलायंस कैपिटल, there are two brothers who were earlier working together, but due to some family disputes or due to some internal matters, we can say both of them split together, and they divided the holdings, the entire company's Reliance Group's holding, they distributed it amongst themselves. So this is the example of restructuring your business. So such businesses or such reconstruction of the businesses will not be termed as startup. Second, if its turnover for the previous financial year has exceeded 25 crores. Again, if it exceeds, then it will not be a startup. Maybe it could be termed as a private limited company or any other form. It has completed 5 years from the date of incorporation and registration. So I started with my company, let's say in 2016 or 17. I ran it as per the set parameters. Jesse, I saw to it that it won't exceed 25 crores ka annual turnover. Then I never formed it by way of restructuring. I incorporated it in India. Sab kuch ho gaya, but I formed it in, let's say, 2016. Now 5 years are over, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Suppose Jan mein I formed the company. So Jan 21st ko 5 years I completed. So though I began as startup, but since I have now exceeded 5 years, now my company will not be called as a startup because I have already crossed five years now. Further, startup shall be eligible for tax benefits only after it has obtained certificate from interministerial board set up for such purposes. So, जैसे like I said that the birth of this initiative was out of the need that because of no funding, the ideas remain here. They don't go a next step further. So funding cut, funding part has also been taken care of. Startup shall be eligible for tax benefits only after it has obtained certificate from interministerial board. So there would be some tax benefits to Startup India only after it gets a certification from the authorities, from the managing authorities, that is interministerial board set up uh, for such purposes. So we have seen startup किसको बोलते हैं, what was the philosophy, what was the motive behind starting up this startup as the initiatives. So we would be ending with our unit here. Tomorrow we'll start with theories of entrepreneurship. Again, it is not that big unit to cover. We have only 5 to 6 theories to learn, and from then onwards we would be moving our discussion to another level where we would be discussing lot of bodies, the lot of government bodies, government entities, and how they are functioning and stuff like that. So we would be seeing these things in our coming sessions. I hope the model and this startup philosophy is clear to you. In case anything you want to ask, you can ask me during class or maybe during college hours as well. So I hope it is clear. So we are stopping here. We are ending our session, today's session here. See you tomorrow then. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Bye and
Thank you,
have a
ma'am.
great day. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Have a great day. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Ma'am.